Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Hello, I'm Ali Falla here with your morning news. Search and rescue teams save thousands of individuals every year. Reporter Noah Peckham explains how you can make rescue missions easier.
In British Columbia, there's nearly 80 search and rescue groups that consist of over 3,000 volunteers. While these volunteers respond to calls as quickly as they can, help does not come instantly. Sandra Riches is the executive director of BC Adventure Smart. She explained that proper emergency preparation can help the search and rescue team.
So by their preparation, their planning, their skills, and knowing what to do in that emergency, that can all help them in their situation, and it can reduce the severity of that search and rescue task as well.
Riches says make sure you're following the 3 T's: trip planning, training, and taking the essentials. Noel Peckham, BCIT News.
Now we go live with our producer Abby Salisbury to see what else we are going to cover in today's morning news.
Thanks, Ali. Today on The Crow, our reporters are out chasing some great stories. Izzy Morgan is talking about food waste and how best before dates affect the amount we are throwing out. And Tyler Bereskin is talking about earthquake activity in the province with John Cassidy from the Geological Survey of Canada. And coming up on For the Record, Denene Tingala is talking to Celine Jackson, a home economics teacher, on how schools are under-prioritizing life skill classes, like sewing and foods, over academic classes. It's going to be a good day, so stay tuned and keep listening. Back to you, Ali.
Thank you. Prime Minister Mark Carney says the best place for Alberta to be is in Canada. His comment comes one day after a judge threw out an Alberta petition calling for a referendum on separation. Carney also spoke about referendums on Parliament Hill today.
We're a democracy. We have certain standards and an ability for provinces to hold referenda on a variety of subjects. And if following the rules, they hold referendums, obviously we support that.
President Xi Jinping and Donald Trump have started a crucial series of meetings today. Stability in the relationship is the main goal of the 2 days of discussions. The White House and Chinese state media said the leaders concluded their Thursday morning meeting after about 2 hours. Trump is expected to leave just after midday Friday after a final private meeting with Xi. But few breakthroughs are expected on different issues ranging from the Iran war, trade, technology, and Taiwan. Trump hopes to convince China to buy more agricultural products and passenger planes, setting up a board to address their differences. Another goal of these discussions is to avoid a repeat of the trade war ignited last year after Trump's tariff hikes. In the war in Europe, Russia has started another attack on Ukraine. This has been reported as a big strike.
With President Trump in Beijing and all eyes on China, Russia has unleashed one of its largest attacks on Ukraine since that war began, firing at least 800 drones, killing at least 6 people, and wounding dozens, including children. It comes as the Pentagon abruptly cancels the deployment of thousands of troops to neighboring Poland.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is facing growing pressure to step down. More than 80 lawmakers in his own party were calling for Starmer's resignation last week. His Labour Party suffered historic losses in local and regional elections. Some experts are saying the Prime Minister could face a leadership challenge as early as today. Here's the ABC's Patrick Revel in London with the latest.
Starmer has previously signalled that he would not step down and that he would fight any leadership challenge, but clearly now his government is being thrown into turmoil. It is remarkable because less than 2 years ago, Starmer was elected with a landslide victory, but since then there's been a series of self-inflicted policy U-turns which has caused a lot of damage to him.
In weather, Burnaby is going to be partly cloudy today with temperature fluctuating around 15 degrees Celsius. That was all for today. Have a great day.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Teresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good morning, I'm Jana Ali, and these are your sports headlines at 10:40. Here's what's happening this morning. The Canucks are set to make a major announcement regarding new leadership roles at 1 p.m. today. This news comes after the organization fired former general manager Prakrit Alvin back in April after the team finished dead last in the league with a 25-49 record. The Canucks president of hockey operations, Jim Rutherford, also left his position on May 6th, saying he'll step down from his role following next month's draft and become an advisor instead. Rutherford has said the search for a new general manager involved more than 15 candidates. Also in hockey, the Edmonton Oilers have fired coach Chris Knoblauch after losing the first round of the playoffs. Knoblauch guided the Oilers to consecutive trips in the Stanley Cup final after taking over as a mid-season replacement when Jay Woodcroft was fired following a bad start in November 2023. They are now set for the sixth coach in 12 seasons since Connor McDavid entered the NHL and became the best player in the league alongside fellow MVP Leon Draisaitl. General Manager Stan Bowen dismissing Knoblauch seems to indicate he will remain in his job along with the president of hockey operations, Jeff Jackson. The Minnesota Wild lost the chance to advance to the Western Conference Finals of the Stanley Cup after losing 4-3 to the Colorado Avalanche in overtime last night. The Avalanche will face the Vegas Anaheim winner. Vegas leads the series 3-2. In Whitecaps, earlier this morning, Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim, along with the province, federal government, Musqueam, Squamish, Tukwila Nations, and PAFCO, announced in a joint statement that they are working with private partners to keep the Whitecaps soccer team in the city. The group says they are working on improving the game day economic model at the stadium, but they do not identify their private investors. It also says they're advancing work on a potential new stadium. They're committed to keeping the Major League Soccer team in Vancouver for generations to come. The Whitecaps team has been up for sale since December 2024, and an investor group recently submitted a bid to the MLS seeking to buy the club and move it to Las Vegas. In baseball, Dalton Varsho hit a walk-off grand slam in the 10th inning as the Toronto Blue Jays rallied past the Tampa Bay Rays 5-3 last night to snap a 3-game losing skid. Varsho says the win might help the Blue Jays loosen up the slow start to the season.
Can loosen up the claws a little bit, knowing that we needed to just kind of have something like that to be able to kind of just take a deep breath and relax. That's a big thing.
It was Toronto's first win against Tampa Bay in 6 tries this season and helped the Blue Jays avoid a sweep at the hands of the American League leading Rays. In the NFL, the full 2026 NFL schedule will be released Thursday night, completing the list of 272 games over 18 weeks. The season kicks off September 9th, when the Seahawks will raise their Super Bowl banner. It will be the second time the NFL season opens on a Wednesday. A legal fight over the hiring for top positions in the NFL. Florida's Attorney General has issued an investigation to subpoena the legal claim claiming its diversity hiring practices violate state law. The dispute centers on the football's so-called Rooney Rule, adopted by the NFL 20 years ago, that require teams to interview external candidates who are persons of color and or women for top coaching and executive positions. Here's ABC's Rena Roy.
The dispute centers on the NFL's so-called Rooney Rule. Back in March, Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer threatened possible legal action against the NFL unless it suspended the rule. The move prompted the league to revise parts of the policy, saying it expands the pool of candidates considered, adding final hiring decisions remain with each club. But Uthmeyer says those changes don't go far enough, saying yesterday in a letter to the NFL, "You assert the rule does not impose any hiring quotas. We are not convinced."
That was your sport headlines at 10:40. I'm Jana Ali, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank